sisters, you're listening to the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally, coming to you live on WLIB 1190 AM in New York. We'll be on the Impact Television Network in the 10 o'clock hour. I'd like you to get on your feet right now for the president and founder of the National Action Network, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton.
No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. When do we want it? Now. When do we want it? Now. Hug the person next to you. Tell them you love them. National Action Network Change Choir, give them a big hand. Give them a big hand. Certainly we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning for the Saturday Action Rally. For you that are here live at the House of Justice at 106 West 145th Street in the Village of Harlem, and you that are listening live on 1190 WLIB AM in New York, or watching on Facebook Live, and soon we'll be joined by our Impact TV family. We're happy to be with you another Saturday where the action is. And give a hand to our presiding attorney, Michael Hardy, and our Northeast Regional Director, Minister Kirsten John Ford. And certainly as we kick off Women's History Month here at National Action Network, let us commend again our new Deputy Mayor, Jamie Bland. Jamie's been a chapter leader in New Jersey, and now she's the Deputy Mayor of the city. And we're proud of her diligence and her work. Let me reiterate some of the announcements that have been made. I think it is important that we all stand and show concern as we build the organization's New York chapter. One of the things that I want to see Minister Marshall deal with in the Education Committee, Brother Griffith and all, is this education dilemma. Because I think that what we saw this week, choose a school chancellor, and then the chancellor turns down, shows the real kind of confusion in where we're going in terms of education in the city. The men's auxiliary under our president of the local chapter cabinet, Bill Griffith, recently had, I think last Saturday, the whole town hall here about the fight around public schools versus charter schools. And part of the issue has been cohabitation. Now, one of the things that I observed is, and when Dominique and Dr. Marcus Bright took me on to a couple of schools, this is before they were married, one of the things that I saw was that when you can go to a school and in the same building, you go on one side of the school and it's squalid, it is uncared, untaken care of, it's not taken care of, and it's unkempt. And you go in the same building, sometimes same floor, and go across the hall, there's carpet, there's laptops, there's computers. Now, when you have this kind of double standard at a young basic age, you are preparing kids for a adjustment and a normalizing of double standards the rest of their life. Let us welcome our Impact TV family. And one of the things that I think is important is that we do not normalize what is not right. You cannot train your children, raise your children to become normalized with imbalance, inequality, unfairness. And too many of us adjust rather than confront. We have in our convention coming up April 18th to the 21st here in New York. One of the reasons that we're convening thousands of people free, bringing the top names in government and in activism and in religion, is that we cannot adjust to craziness. I watch people every day adjusting to this administration, where you have people coming on television every night. Well, Trump had another week of disarray, but y'all know how he is. And that's slowly normalizing his behavior. No, I don't know how he is. I know what we should expect of him. If you sit in the president's seat, you ought to act like a president. Don't lower your standards to adjust to somebody else's lack of standards. Y'all with me? So that's one of the things. We going over those 3 days, and some people that are watching right now say, well, Remy, I can't be in New York all 3 days. I can do 1 day, half day. You need to pre-register. We have everybody coming. The kickoff speaker is going to be former Attorney General Eric Holder, all the way through workshops and speeches by Senator Kamala Harris, Senator Cory Booker, Senator Bernie Sanders is coming, Elizabeth Warren, all of that. Angela Rye from CNN doing a workshop, Joy Reid from MSNBC, then our leading ministers, and our ministers group this year. This is the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King. We're honoring his lieutenants that will be there, and it's going to be on and on and on. Common, the artists, will be there. To pre-register to get your free seat. Why do I say pre-register to get your seat? Is once we close, we got a room for 400 to do gun violence. Once we get to 400, we only go by the list, otherwise you can't get in. Voting rights, youth organizing, all of that, the list cut down, you're not pre-registered, you in the hall. And y'all that have ever come to National Action Network Convention know we do thousands every year, the biggest gathering. This is more important than any convention we ever had, because everything that we are dealing with is under threat. Let me tell you something. They had the oral arguments just on Monday, Janus versus AFSCME, where they are prepared to overturn labor rights and really serve a deafening blow to labor in this country. Well, what is Janus versus AFSCME? Well, first of all, AFSCME is the American Federation of State and Municipal Employees. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you are working for a county or state or federal job, that's the union that bargains for your retirement, health benefits, salary raises. This lawsuit is to say that even if you are a beneficiary of what the union bargains and negotiates for, you don't have to pay the union dues on it, which is designed to break the union. Nothing but a way of legalizing union busting. Why they want to do that? Because unions are the ones that have put the troops and resources out for civil rights, for voting rights, for working class. And if the right wing can take away their resources, which is the dues, they got billionaires on one side and no one with resources on the other. That's what that's about. That's why this convention is important. So I want you that are watching on Impact, you that are listening on radio, to call right now and let them sign you up. Some folk can't go online. If you can, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and you can register right online right now, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. But some folks can't go online, so call this toll-free number, 1-877-626-4651. 1-877-626-4651. Someone's at the phone right now and will pre-register you. We are in very confusing and tumultuous times, and we need to get together with a plan and then action. We're also in a very unsettling time. As I was saying, the normalizing of craziness is dangerous. We just saw the other day, young man killed his mama and daddy in Michigan because they wouldn't pay his tuition. But I'm telling you that we have started to act like, well, they just got a little problem. You got kids and grandkids set up in your house. that won't talk to you, all up in social media, tell you leave them alone, and you act like something normal about that? Let me get this right now. You're going to pay the bills. You're going to take care of them and do all your responsibility. But they're going to decide when they're in the mood to discuss something. You will never know how far off they are if you can't have a discussion. Hello? So in the middle of all of this, we lose our way. That's why a lady told me, Reverend, I want you to pray for me. I told her, you call our prayer line, 1-877-626-4651. I pray, everybody calls in, I want to pray for especially, because I want people to understand that you need some strength to balance yourself during these times. If you are on a ship or boat or even a plane that's rocking, you need something to keep you stable. So even if you can't stabilize what you own, you can be stable in the storm. You may not be able to stop the storm, but you can be calm in the storm if you're anchored and can ride through the storm. Yesterday, a nor'easter came through New York. Couldn't hardly walk down the street because of the winds, rain, snow. But those that have been through storms just know how to bundle up, get an umbrella, and how to go on through the storm. You need a storm prayer. Call me right now, 1-877-626-4651. Now, one of the things I want you to work on, and I want to get into some of this. One of the things I want y'all to work on. I said this, and I do an Instagram, Facebook motivation message every morning. I go work out every morning before dawn, and I do that to give people something to think about. And I want to share one of the things I said this morning. Young minister called me and said, Reverend Al, why does everybody take me as some joke? And I rationalized it, thought about it, kept trying to, be all right, like a lot of us do. Make everybody, don't hurt nobody's feelings. But then 2 days later, a young lawyer said to me the same thing. I'm working this big law firm and they don't take me seriously. And that's when it hit me, because it could be a lot of our young people, and for that matter, older people, don't understand. People take you as seriously as you take yourself. If everybody is dismissive of you, it might not be that everybody got some way off. It might be that you off. I told a young preacher, I called him back after the lawyer 2 days later, and I told him, maybe the reason no one takes you seriously is you act like a clown. And clowns are jokes. And people don't take jokes too seriously. Now, they're entertained by them, but they don't take them seriously. I knew a preacher when I was growing up, told me the story about how he used to hang out in the entertainment world. And he used to carry on with all the entertainers. And he used to do what they did. If they gambled, he gambled. If they got drunk, he'd sip with them and just hang out, because he wanted to be part of the crowd. He said one day he was out in Hollywood with them. They were performing, this particular Motown group. And he said in the middle of the night, one of them knocked on his door. And he got up and he went, and this is in the hotel, he went opened the door to his room in the hotel, and the guy from the group was standing there with tears in his eyes, shaking. He said, "What's wrong?" He said, "I just got word my father died." He says, "Really?" He says, "Yeah, and I need you to get me a preacher to pray for my mother and me." He said, "Well, you know I'm a preacher." He said, No, I need a real preacher." Folk will laugh with you and roll with you, but they will not take you serious if you don't take yourself seriously. And if you got to be less than who you are to get along with somebody, you don't need to be with them. I tell folk every day, don't come to me. Folk be coming up to me with attitude holy. Don't come with that Asian stuff to me. Because all that provoking stuff makes you a suspect. I ain't gonna bow to you. I'm getting ready to bow you away from me. We can deal as equals, but don't be coming roughing up in front of here. I remember a few weeks ago, a guy come walking up chest. "Hey man, I want to talk." "You talk with your mouth, not your chest. You better back up from here." We got too much clowning in serious places. Too many of our preachers clowning. Too many of our politicians clowning. Too many of our businessmen clowning. And we've become adjusted to clowning and cooning. It's the addiction of trying to get an attraction. So you preach anything rather than to get folk to come to church. You ain't making sense, ain't making a point, ain't got nothing to do with no scripture, just anything. You wear thongs in the wintertime if it'll get you a crowd. Attention junkies. I guess mom and daddy didn't pay you enough attention when you was growing up. So you need people to surround you for you to feel valid, rather than to speak to what you were called to speak to, and with power and anointing. And the crowd, whether they're there or not, you doing your job. We send you to Washington to clown. Be up in the pulpit clowning. Can't tell the difference between you and a comedian. Just a joke. And bring me right into this whole gun debate. We have a serious problem when we are in a nation that when young children are standing up saying, "We gotta do something." 17 of our friends were shot down for no reason. And the Congress and the state legislature in that state won't even vote to convene to hear what the law is. They don't get no more dangerous than that. Then Trump, playing the TV role he used to play, sets up this bipartisan meeting of senators and congressmen Now, let me tell y'all one thing y'all miss. I'm gonna deal with this on my MSNBC show in the morning. How many of y'all saw the meeting on TV that Trump had, or saw the photos? A lot of folks miss one thing. There wasn't a black in the room. Nobody has suffered more from gunfire and the proliferation of guns than black folks. Yet not one black congressman or senator was in the room, and nobody in the media even talked about it. Again, normalizing insults. You too busy clowning and cooning and trying to do something, whatever you're trying to do. That people in your congregation, in your congressional or legislative districts are not even in the room and are being shot down and you're not even talking about it. Second thing is, you must remember Donald Trump came out of a background of overselling property. That's his background. His background was that I'm gonna sell you something for $1 million that really ain't worth nothing but $85,000. So which means hyping and telling you what you need to hear to buy his stuff is what he did for a living. So if that is what he does, then why are you sitting across the table believing anything he said? This is what he does. So he sit up there, yeah, let's do something about mental health. Yeah, let's open up all the mental institutions. Oh yeah, what do you say, so-and-so? Oh, is that in your bill? Let's strengthen the background laws. Sounds like a good idea. What about anything y'all want to talk about? And by the way, you guys are scared of the NRA. You got to stand up to them. I'm not scared. I'll back you up. But the one thing they never brought up was the issue at hand. The guns. The assault weapons. And you sit up there being calmed. That, well, I looked at online late that day in the papers the next day. I couldn't believe it all. Well, maybe Trump is moving more. Moving over to what? They're not talking about AR-15s being banned. They're not talking about assault weapons being banned. The issue is not the age. The issue is the access. So let me get this right. You don't want your child shot at by an 18-year-old. They should be at least 21. You feel better now? The man that shot up everybody, 58 people died in Las Vegas, was in his 60s. This ain't an age problem. It's an access to military-style weapons problem. Let me tell you something. He talked about, well, yeah, let's get rid of the bump stocks. Now, it is not just the bump stocks, and they should have never been allowed, but it's all kind of stuff. They got a thing called binary echo trigger. I wouldn't get y'all up this early in the morning if I did my research. They got a thing, binary echo trigger, where you get 2 shots for 1. If you shoot somebody automatic weapon, MR-15 style weapon, it discharges as you pull the trigger. With the binary echo trigger. It shoots as you pull the trigger and it shoots again when you release the trigger. They need to ban that too. They need to ban all of these weapons so the mentally ill, the old, the young, and the in-between can't shoot what they cannot get. Now, some of the companies, one of the reasons I support the March 24th with the young folk, and I understand when people say, well, they didn't get upset when blacks got shot. No, they didn't. But they're upset now, and we still getting shot, so let's change the laws. If I was in the ocean drowning, and nobody came and got me, and then somebody white pulls up, floats up next to me drowning, and somebody come and got them, I'm not gonna let them tell you leave me to drown because I'm mad you didn't come get me. You wait and come when the white come. Pull both our butts out the water. We can argue when we get on the shore. Talk to me like I got good sense. And one of the reasons I support it is because the impact, now you got everybody from Walmart to Dick's Sport, they starting to pull out. And then big bad con man Trump, who had just wagged his finger in the senators and congressmen's face talking about y'all scared of NRA. It wasn't 24 hours before he had the NRA in the White House, telling them what they wanted to hear, because he sells stuff below value. I mean higher value. Man, you gonna meet with the NRA and the Democrats and everybody happy. Because you lying to everybody. Then they come and get his communications directors. I got to deal with this stuff all in the morning now. One, the media didn't call out, there were no blacks in the meeting. Second thing is they said, and his communication director, Hope Hicks, went in front of the investigators and said, yes, I might have told some little white lies. And they covered it like that's normal. What is a white lie? Well, if a white lie is a little lie, what's a black lie? And what's a brown lie? A lie is a lie. But a white lie is supposed to don't matter as much as a regular lie. What's a white lie? When they got here and discovered America and the Native Americans was already here, is that a white lie? I mean, how do you define that and act like that should be accepted language? But to distract from that, Trump gonna jump out and say, I'm gonna put tariffs on aluminum and steel. Stock market can start dipping, all the American allies and enemies start holding press conferences. We gonna respond. And got y'all all over here quick. We don't even know what tariff he talking about. It's the politics of distraction. That is why there's a lesson in that. And that is that immediately after he announces the tariffs, Russia, China, Canada, who has the NAFTA deal on trade with this country, Mexico, all of them came out and did what? Stood up for their interest. Trump and those that support the tariffs will stand up for what? Their interests. The lesson is that we as a community, that's why the National Action Network Convention is important, we must come to the table to back and support and undergird our interests. There is no serious discussion unless you're discussing interest. Grown folk protect their interests. Children sit around trying to impress who's at the table. One of the ways you can tell who don't belong in a serious room is when they trying to impress the folk in the room rather than protect the interest they came in the room for. I want y'all to be real clear about that. One of the ways you can tell if you're in the right church is if you got a choir that is singing for the glory of God, not a choir that's trying to entertain you. I go to some churches and the choir get up, got a whole routine. When you gonna sing? They ain't sung a word now. I come burdened down, I come need inspiration. You up there? What is that supposed to be? If I want to go see Dad, I can go to Apollo. Whole choir, all in step. Everybody front, back, doing calisthenics. Like you're a drill team. Got nothing to do with no praise. Preacher get up and preach about absolutely nothing. Go home with no word. Just a whole lot of nothing. Anytime preacher get up and you got more to say than him or her, something wrong. Preacher get up, repeat after me. You ain't said nothing. Everybody repeat after me. Amen. Repeat after me. Joe got it. Repeat after me. Mary did have it. Ha! Repeat after me. We gonna get it. Go get what? Who is Joe? What you talking about? Just playing with people. Clowning and cooning. Then you get all worked up. I feel my help coming. Up, what hit? It's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. I'm coming to get you out of here. God does not anoint foolishness. Our people need to be lifted and instructed and inspired and liberated. They don't need to be played with. And if you're not prepared, then you ought to step out the way. If you look at the Bible, everybody that God used, he used to address the iniquity of the time they lived in. When they were dealing with Egyptian bondage, he did not tell them to anoint the stones that they had to make, the bricks with no straw. Everybody that was speaking on God's side was addressing Pharaoh's oppression. You go to church tomorrow, it needs to give you the internal strength and internal spirit to deal with your problems at home, problem on the job, problems in your life, and your problems in society. But if your pastor, your preacher, your evangelist can't strengthen you through the storm and scared also to deal with Trump, they need to sit down. Well, Red Mal, y'all into politics. No, I'm into the Bible. Moses confronted Pharaoh. Was that politics? David whipped Goliath. To do what? Protect the interests of the Israelites against the Philistines. Was that politics? What Bible do you read? You don't have enough guts to preach out this. I tell all of the young folk in National Action Network and all, don't let them reduce us. They got the same thing they did in our younger years. They try to appoint you black leadership. Leadership comes from the ground and sacrifice. Well, Red Mal, guy interviewed me the other day for one of the networks. Red Mal, I see the older guys out there, John Lewis and Jesse and them been out there, and then you come along. Now we got a lot of the hip-hoppers are leading. I said, no, the hip-hoppers are entertainers that are lending their name and their celebrity to the movement. They ain't leading the movement. Leadership comes from the ground up. When I was growing up, we knew Dr. King and Malcolm. We liked the Temptations and Diana Ross and the Supremes, but Diana Ross and the Supremes wasn't leading the civil rights movement. Y'all getting confused. One rapper give a good interview and y'all make him a leader. Because you'd want to be able to avoid with people that got substance and depth and know how to protect your interests. It's easy for you to deal with a one-line rapper or one-line gospel singer or a preacher that preached the same sermon and tell the congregation to preach it for them. Repeat after me. I ain't got nothing to say today. Come on, y'all. I don't hear you. Am I in here by myself? Repeat after me. I ain't got nothing to say. Oh! That's what you get. They talk about a nothing baby, a nothing message. What was the message? So I encourage us to deal with taking ourselves seriously. And when you take yourself seriously, you take the condition you're in seriously and deal with that condition. Reason why they want to get you entertained rather than informed is then you will not do anything about your situation because you avoid it. They used to call it escapism. So if we don't have you focused that they're taking your health care, focus that they're removing you from your communities with gentrification, focus from the fact they're changing the voting laws, focus that they're changing the laws about climate change. If we can get you entertained and distracted, you won't change anything because you're not taking yourself seriously enough to understand that nobody has the right to strip from you what is your right when you're born as a human being. And that's what I'm trying to get. That's my message to you today. Take yourself seriously. Do you realize, I went to the doctor the other day, if you dealt with the intricate ways that God created you, I mean, just every little vein, molecule, muscle, You are an intricately woven machine that can scar itself and heal itself. You have a scar, go away in a week, you heal yourself. Take in protein and energy and release it yourself. An intricately designed machine. So you ought to take yourself as seriously as God took you. Look how God put you together. Break down in your own mind the ability you have to make decisions that animals can't make. So then why are you clowning with the ability that you have? And why are you insulting your intellect by talking to folk that got nothing to say? Well, you need to hear me. I've known you 30 years. I know a lot of folk 30 years. And if you saying, and at the same level you was 30 years ago, then I don't need to hear you because you've not grown in 30 years. If somebody got to tell you how long they know you to give credibility, they've already shown how much of a waste of time they are. I've been around Rev half my life, and you right where I met you. I'm your brother. I'm your cousin. I'm your niece, nephew. I ain't chose none of that. I inherited that. Somebody asked me did I want you? And nobody asked you did you want me? If you got to have a rank to have a relationship, then that means you have nothing to contribute. But if you support each other's interest, if being with you develops me and shapes me, and you being around me will help you and enlighten you or enrich you, then I don't need a rank to justify a relationship. You will desire it because it's a mutual growth and a mutual benefit. And I take myself seriously. That's my message today. Enough that if it don't benefit me, then I get away from it. Because I need to keep growing. And if you are not going to water my growth, I got to get away from you, not because I don't like you, but I love myself. And I can't get to where I got to go with stunning growth. Ecclesiastes says, to every man is born for a purpose and a season and a time. Didn't say you had to do it everybody else. It's your purpose. It's your time. And I love you and I thank you for the miles we travel and through the pitfalls we've been through. But I got more things to do. I got more room to grow. I'm not at my full height. And what worked for me in the 3rd grade won't work for me in the 11th grade. And what worked in the 11th grade won't work in college. I tell you what, I'll see you at the ignorant reunion. I'll come to the ignorant reunion once a year. But we ain't hanging out every day because I don't want to be ignorant no more. We're going to have homecoming at the church. I'll do homecoming once a year. But I ain't coming all the time unless you learn how to say something. Just invite me for homecoming. But I ain't eating your slave diet food either. Negroes sitting up talking about, you too good to eat this, chitlins and hog. We ate that when they would not let us eat nothing else. Ain't good enough for grandma, because grandma worked in the fields all day. and could sweat that hog gut out and sweat those wild greens out. You sitting your fat butt behind a cubicle. How you think you're gonna sweat something out? You can't hardly keep your breath going to the bathroom. I done grown past that. Take yourself seriously. That's why we got to deal with Trump. I take myself too serious than to have something like that sitting there telling me they the president of my country that I got to pay tax to. I think too much of myself to have some clown as my head of state. President of Russia does a tape the other day. There's a video that he got nuclear weapons that America can't stop. And the president up there tweeting about Alec Baldwin on TV. I take myself too serious to have that kind of foolishness. How seriously do you take yourself? Who is in your life? Who's in your circle is a reflection of how you see yourself. Dr. Maya Angelou was known for saying, if somebody tell you who they are, believe them. Well, if I not only see who you are, but who's around you, then I know a lot about you. Some folk want everybody to like them. So they play every side. You with everybody. Because you don't stand for nothing. You still trying to be accepted. You still trying to have somebody validate you. You never got over daddy left when you was a kid or mama put you away. So you want everybody to love you, and you don't understand they're using your need for love. They don't care about you. They don't take you seriously. My father left when I was 9. I got over it. Went through a lot in life. Many of my siblings went to jail. I didn't keep the family tradition. I saw it and said, I got to break the cycle, because I took myself seriously. And I didn't let others determine the road I was going to travel, because God wouldn't have gave me gifts if he didn't intend for me to use these gifts to lift me and lift others with me, because I can't stay up by myself. So I got to lift you to lift me. Well, Reverend, it seems like we're in a bad time. Yes, but if you read the Bible, I was reading Deuteronomy this week, and I'll let you go. I was reading Deuteronomy, the 23rd chapter, 4th and 5th. Kiss it before you preach this somewhere and don't give me credit. Well, when Balaam in the Bible, 5th verse talks about how what all they did, that what they did as a curse, God turned into a blessing. When you take yourself seriously, you know man can't curse you. Because there is a spiritual boomerang that every curse you throw at me is going to bounce back and bless me. Go on and curse me. Go on and take your shot. Go on and do the worst thing you can to me, because it's going to bounce back a blessing. Every curse you got, God got God is in the blessing business. God is in the blessing business. I take myself seriously because I am a child of God. Get up, black man. Quit feeling sorry for yourself. Stand up, black woman. Quit clowning and cooning. I am a child of God. Everybody sing. Everybody sing. Everybody singing. Everybody singing. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. We want justice. Got to have justice. Everybody singing. One last time, y'all. One last time. One last time, y'all. Hey, I'm gonna open the doors of the movement. There may be someone here today. Hears us on the radio, watches us on television, heard about us down through years, but never became part of the National Action Network. Today, you can become part of this. Work with one of our committees. Work with us on Saturdays. We're an action network. We don't talk about it, we do it. If you're here today and not a member, just walk down either aisle to me and let us sign you up right now to the National Action Network. Come on, everybody singing. Everybody sing. Everybody singing. Hey, sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. One more time.